Hello students, in my last video we discussed about the symmetric and skew-symmetric matrices. In today's session we will discuss about the theorems related to symmetric and skew-symmetric matrix and also invertible matrices and also elementary operations. First we will discuss about the theorem. In that the first theorem is, for any square matrix A with real number entries, A plus A dash is a symmetric matrix and A minus A dash is a skew-symmetric matrix. See here, for any square matrix, if you consider any square matrix with real number entries, if you will add two matrices, that is A plus transpose of A, then that is equals to a symmetric matrix, and A minus A dash is a skew-symmetric matrix. We need to prove these two statements here. And it is of 2 marks in your examination. It will be asked for 2 marks. Let D is equals to A plus A dash. What we consider here, let D is equals to A plus A dash. First we need to take the symmetric matrix. That is A plus A dash, addition of matrix plus its transpose. Then we need to take transpose on both the sides, on LHS also, RHS also. That's why D dash here, A plus A dash and whole dash. And by the property of transpose of our matrices, we know that A plus B whole dash is equals to A dash plus B dash. Therefore, it becomes what? A dash plus A dash of whole dash. And we also know that if you transpose twice, you will get the original matrix. That's why A dash whole dash is equals to A, and that A dash remains as it is. So, by the commutative property of addition, we can write it as A plus A dash. So, it is equals to the B, what we assume. So, let here B transpose is equals to D. What it indicates here? Therefore, D is equals to A plus A dash is a symmetric matrix. Similarly, we need to take C. Here we choose the alphabet C, and you need to take the subtraction between the A and A dash, subtraction sign. So, A minus A dash. Again, you need to take the transpose on both the sides of LHS and RHS, both the sides of equality. So, C dash is equals to A minus A dash whole dash, and A dash same minus A dash of whole dash. It's because of the transpose of a matrix property. And afterwards, A dash minus A. It's because A dash whole dash is equals to A. That's why A. Here we cannot write like how we written in the above. A dash plus A is equals to A plus A dash, because there it is commutative law holds good for addition but not for subtraction here. So we need to take minus as common, and we have to write first A minus A dash. Why? Because here minus A, it is also here upper side minus A is there. So minus of minus becomes plus. So plus A dash is there in the above. So it holds A minus A dash, we consider it as C. So it is equals to minus C. Therefore, C is equals to A minus A dash is a skew-symmetric matrix. Remember, A plus A dash is a symmetric matrix and A minus A dash is a skew-symmetric matrix. Now, the theorem, second theorem. Here, what they have given here statement, any square matrix can be expressed as the sum of symmetric and a skew-symmetric matrix. If you take any square matrix, it can be expressed as the sum of symmetric, that is A plus A dash, and skew-symmetric matrix, that is A minus A dash. This we will prove with the help of previous theorem only. First what we have assumed here, let A be a square matrix. Then we can write it as A is equals to 1 by 2 A plus A dash plus, because here can be expressed as the sum of symmetry. That's why 1 by 2 A plus A dash plus 1 by 2 A minus A dash. From the previous theorem, we already know that A plus A dash indicates symmetric matrix and A minus A dash indicates skew-symmetric matrix. So, for any matrix, if it is multiplied by scalar multiplication, means scalar, any constant, that that is here they have given Ka holds transpose, or otherwise Ka dash, it's equals to Ka dash. So therefore 1 by 2 A plus A dash is also a symmetric matrix. It will not alter, and 1 by 2 A minus A dash is a skew symmetric matrix. Just you need to write it is symmetric and skew symmetric. That's all. Thus any square matrix can be expressed as sum of symmetric and a skew symmetric matrix. Based on this, we will solve a problem. It is of 5 marks. It's very important. Express the matrix B is equals to as a sum of symmetric and a skew symmetric matrix. We need to express it as symmetric, sum of symmetric and skew symmetric. First we need to take the transpose of the given matrix. Here what they have given, matrix B. We need to take here B dash, converting first row into first column, second row into second column, third row into third column, that is B dash. By the definition of symmetric matrix, what we know? Transpose is equals to the original matrix, that is B dash is equals to B. Then that kind of matrix is called symmetric matrix. That is A dash is equals to A or B dash is equals to B. Let P is equals to 1 by 2 B plus B dash here. Because from the theorem we know that for symmetric, if you multiply any scalar multiple, it doesn't alter. That's why 1 by 2 B plus B dash is equals to 1 by 2. We need to add the B plus B dash. We need to add these two matrices. That is 2 plus 2 4. Minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3. And minus 4 plus 1 is minus 3. Minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. And minus 2 plus 4 is 2. Minus 4 plus 1 is minus 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. Minus 3 and minus 3 is minus 6. We need to remember here while adding the orders of B and B dash are same here. Here also 3 by 3 and for B also 3 by 3. Therefore it is easy to add the two matrices. And after that, here what is there? 1 by 2 outside, 1 by 2 is there. We need to divide each element present inside the matrix by 2. So it becomes 2 minus 3 by 2. And minus 3 by 2, minus 3 by 2. And if you 6 divided by 2 is 3 and 2 divided by 2 is 1, minus 3 by 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1 and minus 6 divided by 2 is minus 3. So if you transpose this P matrix, you will get the same as it is. It will not change. The transpose P dash is equals to that of P. What it implies? It holds good for a symmetric matrix. Thus, the P is equals to 1 by 2. B plus B dash is a symmetric matrix. Similarly, we need to prove the skew symmetric matrix by taking another alphabet, that is Q, but instead of addition we need to take the minus sign. See here, Q is equals to 1 by 2 B minus B dash. We need to subtract these two matrices, that is B and B minus B dash. If you subtract, you will get the resultant matrix as 0 minus 1 minus 5, 1 0 6, 5 minus 6 0. And later onwards we need to divide each element by 2. Again here is also you need to take the transpose. That is converting rows into columns. But it is not exactly equals to Q. See that 0. In Q it is minus 1 by 2. But here it is 1 by 2. And in Q it is minus 5 by 2 in the first row. Here it is 5 by 2 it is. 5 by 3 it is. And here signs are changed. You observe that one? There plus and here minus. And sometimes in Q dash is positive and in Q is negative. So if you will take minus as a common, you will get exactly the Q matrix. That's why Q dash is equals to minus Q. Therefore, Q is equals to 1 by 2. B minus P dash is a skew symmetric matrix. If once you prove that P is equals to 1 by 2, B plus B dash is symmetric, and Q is equals to 1 by 2, B minus B dash is a skew symmetric matrix, we need to add these two matrices. That is P plus Q. If you will add these two resultant matrices, again you will get the original B matrices, what they have given in the question. That is B. Thus, B can be expressed or represented as the sum of symmetric and skew symmetric matrices. Don't get confused here. If here in Q dash, if you will take minus outside, all positive terms becomes negative and negative terms becomes positive. That's why it becomes minus Q. Understood? In this way, we will solve these kind of problems. It's of 5 marks. Here next comes important elementary operation or transformation of a matrix, and these operations are helpful in finding the inverse of a matrix. There are 6 operations of a matrix, 3 of which are due to rows and another 3 are due to columns. These are known as elementary operations, or sometimes it is called as transformations also. In that first one is the interchanging of any 2 rows or 2 columns. Any 2 rows or 2 columns. That is, it is denoted by Ri and Rj, or R1 and R2 you can take. And this symbol is used to denote the interchanging. That is, in place of R1, Ri, Rj is there, and Rj, Ri is there. What here they have mentioned, interchange of ith and jth column, and it is denoted by and Ci and Cj. Ri and Rj refers to rows and Ci and Cj refers to column. See their example. Here in the matrix A, here applying, that is they have given here interchange R1 and R2. We need to write R1 in case R2 in case of R1 and R1 in case of R2. Just we need to interchange. See there. -1, √3 and 1. It is original matrix. It is in the place of R2. And 1, 2, 1. It is in the place of R1. In this way, we will interchange the matrix rows, or you can also interchange the columns also. And the second property or second operation you can use here is the multiplication of elements of any row or column by a non-zero number. Symbolically, it can be represented by Ri denotes K-Ri. If I need to multiply, consider here one example, R1 by, I need to multiply it by 2. So I am operating for R1 here. That's why I need an amplification sign there. That is arrow mark it is, and K is holds good. K indicates the constant. So suppose consider here R1 implies 2R1. What it indicates? You need to multiply R1 by 2. Similarly, Ci implies KCi. That is for column. See their example here. C3 1 by implies 1 by 7 C3. Which row you need to operate to, that you should write in the first. that is C3 they want to operate here. C3 is, implies 1 by 7 C3. What they have said here, for C3 column you need to divide it by 1 by 7. So remaining 2 columns are, we need to write as it is, 1 by 1, 2 and minus 1 root 3. For the third column we need to divide it by 1 by 7. So 1 by 7 and 1 by 7. Similarly, if you need to operate a row operation, you need to multiply the row. Means which row you need to operate. Third one is the addition to the elements of any row or column, the corresponding elements of any row or column multiplied by a non-zero number. The addition of two elements of any row or column, the corresponding elements of any other row or column multiplied by a non-zero number. See their example here. It can be denoted by Ri, means I need to operate for Ri row, and Ri plus A Rj. Whichever rows you need to choose, it can be represented by I and J. And the column is represented by Ci plus A Cj. See here example. The matrix is 1, 2. C matrix 1, 2 and 2 minus 1. Here I need to make that R2 is there. No, R2 second row. In that 2 is there. 2 is in the first place. That 2 I need to make it as 0. This one I need to make it as 0. So what operation I use here? It is in the place of R2 second row. So R2 first I need to operate for the R2. Here in the R1 the first element is 1. So in order to make this 2 as 0, I use the 1 element. Here R2 minus 2R1. So it becomes 0. See here R2 is 2 minus 2, R1 is 1. So 2 ones are 2. So 2 minus 2 becomes 0. So remaining, and it is applied for only R2, not for R1. R1 you keep it as it is, and for R2 one more element is minus 1. So minus 1 minus 2, R1 is here 2. So it becomes minus 5. It will be clear if you solve the examples. Just to remember these operations. Next, it is very important, invertible matrices. Invertible matrices, if A is a square matrix of order M, then there exists another square matrix of the same order only, then AB is equals to BA is equals to I. If you multiply two matrices, you will get the identity. Even though if you reverse it, again you will get this identity only. Then B is called a inverse of a matrix A, and it is denoted by A inverse. Remember here, AB is equals to BA is equals to I. Whenever invertible, you need to remember this sentence. AB is equals to BA is equals to I. And B is called a inverse of a matrix A, and it is denoted by A inverse. Here they have given one example. A is equals to 2, 3, 1, 2, and B is equals to 2 minus 3 minus 1, 2. These are the two matrices. We need to multiply these two matrices. Before multiplying, the number of columns in A should be equals to the number of rows in B. Here both are having 2 rows and 2 columns. So number of columns in A is also 2 and number of rows in B is also 2. So it is possible to multiply the matrices. If you multiply, you will get the 1, 0, 0, 1. That is identity matrix. Similarly, first you take B and then A. That is BA matrix. Again, you will get the identity only. Thus, B is the inverse of A, or it is also denoted by B is equals to A inverse, or A is equals to B inverse. Based on this, one theorem is there, that is uniqueness theorem. It is of 2 marks. Uniqueness of inverse or uniqueness theorem. Inverse, that the statement of the theorem is inverse of a square matrix, if it exists, is unique. It's always a unique. Inverse of a matrix is always a unique. See here, let A is equals to Aij be a square matrix of order M. What we have choose here, we will use the two inverses here. If possible, let B and C be the two inverses of A here. We need to show that B is equals to C, because what they have said in the statement, it is unique. Then we need to prove that B is equals to C. So first we need to take the B element. B is the inverse of A. B is the inverse of A means what I said here, for whenever the word inverse or invertible comes, you need to remember AB is equals to BA is equals to I. Therefore here, since B is the inverse of A, that is AB is equals to BA is equals to I, and call it as 1. And also, if C is the inverse of A, then AC is equals to CA is equals to I. Call it as 2. We need to prove that B is equals to C. What I consider here, I will take only B. That B I can write it as BI, because what I write here BI, if you multiply any matrix with I, you will get the same matrix or original matrix only. Both are same there. B is equals to BI. If you multiply B with I, you will get B only. But in place of I, can I write AC? Because here they have given AC is equals to CA is equals to I. That's why in place of I will write AC. I will interchange the brackets because associative property, because of the associative property, that I will write BA on one bracket and C outside. And also from the first statement, BA is equals to I. So IC is equals to C. Therefore B is equals to C. Hence, inverse of a square matrix is always a unique. This proves the theorem. Now the next theorem is, if A and B are invertible matrices of the same order, then it's then AB inverse it is. AB inverse is equals to B inverse and A inverse. It is of 3 marks question. It is not AB minus 1. It is AB inverse. AB inverse and B inverse into A inverse. From the definition of inverse of a matrix, we need to write AB inverse is equals to I. This I am writing with the help of A into A inverse is equals to I. In place of A, I need to write AB. And A inverse I will write just in place of A, I am using AB. That's what. AB into AB whole inverse is equals to I. See there, we need to prove LHS is equals to RHS here. In the question, AB whole inverse is there. So here also I got the AB whole inverse. I will not change that one. I got already the LHS part. Just I need to I need to calculate the further with B inverse and A inverse. So for that sake, first I need to pre-multiplying both sides with A inverse. So what happens if you multiply with A inverse on both sides? A inverse into AB, AB whole inverse, A inverse into I. We already know the property that A inverse into A is I. So that's why I will writing it as one bracket and B outside. The AB whole inverse is as it is, and A inverse into I means A inverse only, because if you multiply any matrix with I, you will get same matrix. Therefore, A inverse A is equals to IB. That AB whole inverse into A inverse. Again, BI is equals to B. Similar, same step, AB whole inverse and is equals to A inverse. Here also again, I want here see their RHS. I want now B inverse. So that's why pre-multiplying both sides by B inverse On the both sides we need to multiply B inverse. So B inverse into B, AB whole inverse. This is equals to B inverse into A inverse. Again B inverse into B is I, AB whole inverse, B inverse into A inverse. So hence we got the result AB whole inverse is equals to B inverse into A inverse. Just you need to remember the first statement, that is in place of A I considered here AB. A inverse I concept I used here AB whole inverse is equals to I. In this way we will prove this theorem. Thank you.